In the formation of comparative and superlative degree in adjectives, we go into rule number 4. And the rule number 4 says, if the positive ends in Y and the Y is preceded by a consonant, the Y change into I, and to form the comparative you add ER, and to form the superlative you add EST. That's all. It's very simple, but we do not need to remember. It's just the practice. Okay. Rule number 4. Rule number 4. Let's look at rule number 4. What does it tell us? The rule number 4 says, if the positive ends in Y, if the positive ends in Y, if it ends in Y and the Y and the Y is preceded, and the Y, what's happening to the Y? And the Y is preceded by a consonant, is preceded by a consonant, by a consonant. What happened? The Y changes into I. What will happen to Y? The Y is changed. Y is changed into I. The Y is changed into I. And then what happens? I and ER. And ER and ER and EST are added to form comparative and superlative. ER and EST are added to form the comparative and the superlative. Comparative and superlative. Okay, let's look at the rule number 4. Rule number 4 says positive ends in Y. And the Y is preceded by a consonant. The Y change into I, and ER and EST are added to form comparative and superlative. Now, positive. Comparative, superlative. So now we're going to look at how the 3 degrees are formed in adjective in rule number 4. What does the rule number 4 says? The rule number 4 says, if the positive ends in Y and Y is preceded by a consonant, Y is changed to I, then you add ER and EST in the formation of comparative and superlative. Let's look at the words I have here for you. Now, the first one is dry. The positive ends in Y and it's preceded by a consonant R. Then what happens? The Y is changed into I and then ER is added. Okay, so first one is dry, happy, happy, heavy, pretty, pretty, and merry. Okay, now let's form the comparative. What does it say? The Y is preceded by a consonant R. Y changed to I. So DRI. Then ER is added to form the comparative. So you will find DR. Then I is added and ER is added. So DR. Y is changed into I. Y is changed into I and you add ER. ER. Dryer. Then happy. Again, the positive ends in Y preceded by a consonant. Consonant P. So now what happens here is hap. Y, instead of Y, you add I and then add ER. Instead of Y, change the Y, add I. Y, change Y to I, and then you add ER. And then you get the comparative, drier, happier. Then, let's look at the third one, heavy. So, that will be, and you put I, add I, and then ER. So, Y is taken away. Heavier, pretty. So, double T, add I, and add ER to form the comparative, prettier, and finally, merry. Merry, the Y is changed into I, and then you add ER, and you get the comparative, drier, happier, heavier, prettier, and merrier. Next, we go into the last one. Here, EST is added. So, the first one is DR, and here you are already added I. You already added I, dry, and then you add EST. Here, what are we adding? We are adding EST. And the second one, so I is already added here, and then we go on. The next one, happy. Happiest. We have already added the I here. Okay? So, happiest. Next, we have the third one. We have heavier. I is added and then you add EST. Heaviest. So, I is already there. And the fourth one we have is prettier. So, prettiest. Prettiest. I, EST. And finally, we have merrier. Finally, we have merriest. And again here, the Y is changed into I here. So, in this, we have learned to form the comparative and superlative. The rule number 4 says, if the positive ends in Y and it is preceded by a consonant, then the Y is changed into I and add ER for the comparative, Y is changed into I and add EST for the superlative. Dry, so you become dry, drier. Driest, happy, happier, happiest, heavy, heavier, heaviest, pretty, prettier, prettiest, merry, merrier, merriest. But we can also say, the rule, we can also say, if the Y is preceded by a vowel, in the rule number, if the Y is preceded by a vowel, then what happens? You leave the Y as it is, you add ER to form the comparative and EST to form the, let's look at that. But we need to note this, okay? Let us note this. Something to note. But if the Y, we are talking about, but if the Y is preceded by a vowel, then the Y is not changed. The Y is not changed. Is not changed. The Y is not changed into I. We do not change into, Y doesn't change into I. Okay. When ER and EST, ER and EST are added. Let's look at just a couple of words I have here. I have a word here, gay. I have a word gay, and finally I have one more word, grey. Grey, just two words. So what happened? Gay, gayer. So what happened? Gay, you simply add ER here, okay? Gay and grey. And it's the superlative, gay, grey. Let's see how we change it. Now, we said we are not making any change yet. I is not changed. Now, here, but the Y is preceded by a vowel A. We have A and E here. Then what happens? The Y doesn't change, but you add ER and EST. So you will say gayer, grayer. No change is made. And then you will say year, gayest, EST, greyest. That's all. This is the exception to the rule what we learned here. Rule number 4 says the positive and when it ends in Y preceded by a consonant, then the Y changed to I. ER to form comparative, Y is changed into I, add EST to form the superlative. But in the note, in this, there is a little special thing that we need to note. But if the Y is preceded by a vowel, you have a vowel here, E and A are the two vowels. In that case, the Y is not changed into I. You simply add ER, and you simply add ER to form the comparative. You add EST to form the superlative, like gay, gayer, gayest, grey, grayer, greyest.